It's time once again for another WWE PLE predictions episode, Nika, and it is the beginning of a new era. It is the ESPN era officially getting underway this weekend, at least in the U.S. If you've listened to this show or followed us at all, you'll know that our international WWE friends get a much different production than we do here in the U.S. A much more simplified, streamlined production, and at least for their sake, I hope it stays that way. And I wish we had it. But alas, that is not the reality we live in. It is the ESPN era, and ESPN Unlimited is your new home for premium live events from WWE. Having said all that, you got to feel that WWE and the powers that be, they want to start this era on ESPN off with a bang.
I would imagine.
Do you not? And so with that said, let's start talking about these matches, you know, because we got some situations that are going to, I think, require some enhancement from what we're being given on the cards themselves. And I'm excited to talk about it, actually, because I think some shit's going to go down on this event that is going to come out of nowhere. And if you know us, you know that a lot of our predictions tend to come true, Nika.
I know.
All right. Well, before we get into it all, if this is your first time here, please do us a solid and like, subscribe, and ring that bell for our mascot, Frexy. Thank you so much. She does love attention, Nika.
I know.
Yeah. Little gypsy dog. God bless her. All right. Well, we are going to kick off this prediction show the right way. Ladies first.
Okay.
And we are going to talk about Stephanie Vaquer taking on Io Sky. This is fallout from Naomi's title vacation. Literally, she vacated the title to go have a baby Uso. God bless her. Good for her. I know she's happy.
Oh, yeah.
But there was, as a result of that, no match in Paris for Stephanie Vaquer, who had won that opportunity at Evolution. Now, we are finally getting the payoff for all of that. Stephanie is going to be having a matchup with Io Sky, who was the previous women's world champion. You kind of called that. That was what was going to happen. Now, it should be noted, Io does not have the belt.
Right. Nobody has the belt.
It's just like kind of dangling in between them right now. They didn't like gift her the championship back. They just said, we're going to let you have the other number one shot at it with Stephanie. So that makes sense to me. Now, we've been talking about this matchup back and forth for a few weeks. And, you know, I think the general consensus between you and I is that Stephanie is still really new and that this would be a big jump for her in WWE, and that it also makes sense for Io to become women's world champion right now, because we know that the product itself is going on a Japanese and then an Australian tour coming up, and there's also Rhea Ripley hanging around in the background with this friendly rivalry with Io Sky. I think that's the best way to put it. However, Kenny's been changing his thinking on this one, Nika. Just because it makes sense doesn't mean it will happen. And I just have this feeling, because of the ESPN era and the fact that there's going to be some unforeseen events happening, that I think Stephanie is going to win this match and become women's world champion. And I think I know why.
Oh, do tell, please.
She is just effing popular, man. When we post videos about her, they pop on the YouTube channel.
La Primera, indeed. A cut above. I mean, it's not to take anything away from Io or Rhea Ripley or any of the other women, but she does do well. And I can't help but notice that. And I'm wondering if that's just not true for us, but just for WWE in general. And they recognize her and they want to get her elevated as soon as possible. And maybe Naomi gave them an opening. Maybe.
Because I don't think she was winning against Naomi, but now... And then it's the curveball. Like, I think everyone expects Io to win. I tend to look at it and be like, expect the unexpected.
Okay, so you're gonna go with Stephanie. Okay,
I'm gonna
argument.
Buy an upset victory here and say Stephanie is gonna become women's world champion.
I buy that argument.
She'll have a Tops Now card on Sunday or Monday. I guarantee it.
Okay, well, if you're gonna take Stephanie, I'm gonna go with Io.
You
just
are
to go in opposite.
Although I do like your reasoning for this because she is popular. She does
Buckle up,
draw.
folks. This is just the beginning for this segment. So
Right.
thank you. I'll let you take EO, and I won't be shocked if EO wins for the reasons that I said, because it makes sense narratively. They're going there.
It's a
They
safe
can
route.
promote her in Japan as the women's world champion, and Australia has an Asian population, and also Rhea Ripley can have a championship matchup with her at the Crown Jewel, whatever that event is called. Damn it, it's escaping my mind for a second. But
It is Crown Jewel.
anyways, yeah, I that's what all makes me think like, it's ESPN. It's this first event. Like, there's going to be some unexpected stuff. Stephanie's going to win.
Okay.
She's too popular, and they can't ignore her presence. All right. Well, Drew McIntyre is going to be challenging Cody Rhodes for the WWE Undisputed Championship, the big belt, the old Hulkster belt from the 80s and 90s, baby. And this matchup's been brewing for a while, actually. Drew knocked Cody out of action shortly after SummerSlam so he could go off and film his Street Fighter movie. So good for him. He's now back, and he came back just last Friday and immediately granted Drew this matchup. So apparently, even though he was filming this awesome Street Fighter movie, apparently that's going to be coming out soon, he was still upset about taking that shot to the head from Drew McIntyre that, like, literally allowed him the opportunity to do that. I don't think that's fair, Nika. I don't think that's fair to our friend Drew McIntyre from Scotland, the Scottish psychopath.
So you think he's gonna win now because of it?
I'm just dripping with sarcasm here.
Okay.
No, Cody Rhodes is going to win.
Okay.
Come on. You got to be a sucker to think Cody Rhodes ain't walking out of here with the championship belt. I mean,
I agree with you.
The reason why this matchup's happening, though, is because, like, I think ESPN demanded it. I think ESPN is like, we will sign this contract, but we want Cody Rhodes championship defense matches throughout the rest of the year.
Also, we haven't seen Cody in a month because of the filming, so he needs to have his presence known because he is the heavyweight champion.
Of course, you bring up the biggest reason. He has to win so that ESPN can do their post-game interview with the biggest face of the brand, at least the
Exactly.
biggest title holder face of the brand. You can argue about who the biggest star in WWE is right now. Speaking of big stars in WWE, oh wait, I'm sorry. You're taking Cody Rhodes? I
Yes,
assume?
I'm taking Cody Rhodes.
Okay, I wanted to clarify and make sure that you had. Okay. All right. Speaking of big stars in the WWE, we have a non-championship match between John Cena and Brock Lesnar, and this is the latest matchup in the John Cena Greatest Hits Tour, which is quickly coming to an end, Nika. December is fast approaching, and Brock Lesnar is up next. This is Lesnar's first matchup in a while, and I'm just going to make a slight pre-Wrestlepalooza prediction here
Sure.
for tomorrow to be posted. Is he going to have a wrestling match on SmackDown as a tune-up? Because it's like kind of given nature that you have a matchup before your big main event matchup.
Well,
and he hasn't been on TV.
right.
He hasn't wrestled in the ring. Now he is a veteran of the game and, probably more trustworthy than most. But nevertheless,
You
I
need
just
a
have to
tune-up.
ask, are we going to see him wrestling on SmackDown tomorrow? Like in trunks and like ring attire? Because we haven't
don't
seen him in
know.
that yet.
I mean, we only saw him on SmackDown just to talk
Ripping
to
his
Smack.
pants, doing
Well,
his
ripped pants.
F5s.
Nevertheless, yes, I think he should have a tune-up match. Who his opponent will be, I would say maybe Randy or somebody like already established just to give him some help. Not that
Yeah.
he needs it.
I mean, I have a hard time seeing John Cena show up and do a tag team match with somebody against
No.
with Brock. I feel like the animosity between them is too dramatic for that to happen and allow them both near each other. So I like your idea of Randy. That's a good idea. And someone that is sizable enough to stand up to him, I guess, in the ring. Okay. I like it. What about the match itself at Wrestlepalooza? Who are you taking here? John Cena on his farewell tour against Brock Lesnar, or is Brock Lesnar going to return and spoil the fun, Nika? What do you think?
Ooh, that's a tough one.
It is a
I
tough
don't
one.
see Cena losing because of his greatest tour right now, and it's supposed to be glorifying his career.
Yes.
But he should be knocked down once just to have something to fight for again. But then he won't have the rematch with Lesnar because that makes no sense.
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna kind of interject some. I do think that Cena will win.
Yeah.
Unless this is the wild card, I guess. This is the wild card prediction. Could there be a possibility of a multiple match arc between Cena and Lesnar to close out his greatest hits tour? Is the animosity between them and the history between them so much so that one match will not be enough to lay it all out on the line, and that they'll need to raise the stakes and be like steel cage or some kind of like next level matchup between these two?
No.
Or is it going to be a different opponent?
I don't see it.
You don't see it. Interesting.
I don't see it because there might be interference. Like R-Truth might show up and help Cena win. Somebody might do that.
Okay. I'm just
Because-
wondering what you do with Brock Lesnar then after that. Is this like, because we know he signed some kind of new contract. We don't know if it was short term or long term. Yeah, I'm just wondering, like it seems like if they have this history and this animosity and there's a lot to be settled or something before Cena rides off into the sunset, who knows?
Yeah, but they're also getting up there with age, and how much more do they have in tank to keep going with these fights?
Yeah, I agree. Well, that's just something to think about as we watch WrestlePalooza and see how it all ends, and if once the match ends itself, I'll be curious to see if it feels like the business itself is finished as well. That's all.
But do you take Cena then versus Lesnar?
I'm gonna choose Cena to win,
Yeah.
especially on the first ESPN again. I feel like
Yes.
it's too big of an interview to pass up, and that Brock Lesnar is too controversial a figure to like put on camera afterwards.
I'm gonna go with Cena.
So
as
that's another thing you gotta play politics and factor that into it. All right, well, the time has come to discuss the mixed tag team match, Nika, the husband and wife duos of Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch, the world heavyweight champion and the women's intercontinental champion, respectively, are taking on the other husband and wife duo of CM Punk and AJ Lee. And if you listen to our Raw / NXT reaction episode this week, you'll know my feelings on this already a little bit, but I'm not a big fan of this matchup. I am cautiously optimistic, though, that it will provide because of the talent alone that's involved with it. I mean, at least 3 of the 4 are my favorites, with AJ Lee being the lone exception because I just don't really know her well enough, and I'm not in love with the way WWE brought her character back. However, I want to point out there's nothing really on the line here, just pride. And, that always leads me to believe that the good guys will win.
Yes.
And that this is like a ripe spot for CM Punk and AJ Lee to come out victorious in Indianapolis.
I would agree with that.
However, I've had some other thoughts about this matchup as well. And something that Becky said, I just can't get out of my mind. And I think it's best at this point, especially after another ruse on Monday Night Raw. We saw how they had this in-ring fight, but a second later, we were just bluffing. We pulled a fast one on you so we could beat your ass. And they leave kissing in the ramp on their way out of Raw. But the point I'm trying to get to here is that I feel like Becky recognized AJ Lee's injury. And that I cannot get out of my head. She seems to be a little fixated on that. And I'm just wondering, is AJ Lee going to suffer a vicious injury at the hands of Becky Lynch? And this will turn into some storyline with CM Punk being riddled with guilt over AJ Lee coming back on his behalf to participate, only to re-injure this like traumatic neck injury that caused her to leave WWE a decade ago. And I don't think she's really going to suffer a neck injury, by the way. This is drama, though. This is the kind of drama that sells. And I'm here to expect the unexpected, everybody. That's all I can say right now. And I know this is a very specific prediction, but I just can't get out of my head what Becky said.
you're on a good track because I don't know what is AJ Lee's contract. How long is she gonna be staying, or is she just going for this match?
It's more long term than short term, according to the rumors. I don't think we know 100% for sure, but that aside, I just can't get over the drama it would create, and it
good writing
makes your mind go places, and it's good writing, and it would give CM Punk a lot to fight for with Seth, and to redeem himself too, and
it's a good hypothesis.
Yeah, we'll see. I don't know if they'd go there. It's pretty dark to bring someone back like a fan favorite like that, only to put her on the shelf and put her on a stretcher like Roman Reigns. But at the same time, that's going to sell.
Yeah.
So
you're taking CM Punk and AJ to win this brawl.
I am. I think I'm going to take them to win because I think it's with nothing on the line, it's ripe for the heroes to emerge victorious this time. And Seth and Becky did kind of win on Raw the other night. I didn't think they were going to, and then they did, because they pulled a fast one on me even with the fake argument. Anyways, yeah,
I think we're in agreement with this. So I'm gonna go with you on that one.
But just because they win the match doesn't mean that Becky won't inflict this damage on AJ Lee after the match or, at some point near the end of the match.
Good storyline.
Good stuff. So we'll watch for that, folks.
Okay.
Watch for that. All right. Well, there is another half of the vision, Nika. Braun Breaker and Bronson Reed that have a match with the Usos, Jimmy and Jay. And this is an odd matchup to me because this is nearly identical to the SummerSlam matchup, except Roman Reigns has been replaced by Jimmy Uso, which is like anticlimactic, right? For if you're Jay Uso, you're like, man, my partner got downgraded. Now I know they're a former tag team, but come on, Roman Reigns is not a replacement. Is irreplaceable. I mean, he's irreplaceable.
He's the OTC.
He is. My other question going into this matchup is LA Knight going to factor into it at all? Because I mean, he's been involved with all four of these guys for the past few weeks on Raw, and for him to not be a part of the paid live event, premium live event, whatever you want to call it, afterwards feels anticlimactic to me for him, and he keeps getting the short end of the stick.
We're going to see him on Raw. We're not going to see him in the water.
I know. LA Knight is the Raw cover boy these days.
I know.
When it comes to PLEs, he's MIA. He's missing in action.
He's too much of a cyberpunk.
All right. Poor guy. Yeah, I guess. He has the best like cyberpunkish music. He needs some mechanical parts maybe to spice up his in-ring persona.
Visit to the Ripper Doc.
Yeah, visit the Ripper Doc. Yeah. Upgrades. What about the Wise Man? We haven't seen him since Paris. Not a peep from the loudest mouth in WWE. And we know that he is aligned with the vision, at least as of now. He has a tendency to come back and realign himself.
Sure.
So what do we think's happening here? Do we think we see Paul Heyman at all this weekend? Because
I think so.
I do too. And the reason why is because of ESPN once again and having a big face. Although ESPN may give him a stern talking to, because if you'll remember correctly, once appearing on the Pat McAfee show not so long ago, Paul Heyman made the host himself turn redder than a cherry by opening his mouth about his ESPN/Disney boss overlords and all that they were capable of doing to Pat McAfee. And he got really bright red at that. And I wonder if he made that a little uncomfortable for Pat.
Maybe, but Paul Heyman is really good on the mic.
One of the best.
And if this is a paid event, I would imagine he's going to show up.
I agree. So stay tuned. The matchup itself doesn't do much for me, but I think the Vision is going to win this matchup over the Usos.
Yes, because if Becky and Seth lose, those two will win.
Absolutely. And so, yeah. Well, that just leaves us with kind of an empty placeholder for the all-exclusive sixth matchup that we always talk about, because it seems like every time we get to the countdown of a paid premium live event, there's always 5 matches and one yet to be announced, and that would, of course, probably come on SmackDown tomorrow evening. So, Nika, do we have any predictions for what the sixth matchup is going to be?
I don't know.
At all.
Maybe women's tag team, some kind of a tag team match, or women's.
Well, we do have the Blissful Flair connection with Alexa and Charlotte, and they've been feuding with the Hervis and Chelsea Green. And I think that Chelsea Green was like told that she was going to get a match. Now, I don't know if that's going to be on SmackDown, though, because we generally don't see the Hervis and Chelsea Green on premium paid live events.
Right, but maybe it is ESPN and they need some comic relief, so maybe
they are good at that.
Yeah,
all right,
that
well,
might
keep
be
that in
brought
your
up.
back pocket as you watch SmackDown tomorrow and see how that develops. We also saw a tease on Raw of Rusev and Dirty Dominic staring each other down a little bit, and Rusev saying, "I'm coming for the Intercontinental title," and while this was welcome news to my ears because it's not AJ Styles,
Yes.
I also feel like it's a little too soon for Rusev to get a title shot here with no dramatic build-up at all. Although maybe that is on character for Rusev. He is a man of few words. A lot of fisticuffs, though. But I want to put another idea out there as a dark horse spoiler. Sami Zayn, the reigning United States champion, he's kind of built up a little reputation here early on in his reign of offering title shots. And lo and behold, on Tuesday this week, if you were watching the NXT Homecoming special, Sami Zayn made an appearance, and he was talking with one of our favorites. And we haven't been exposed to a lot of this guy, but his name is Javon Evans, if you are unfamiliar. And he is an athletic up-and-comer on NXT. And Sami Zayn sort of planted the idea / seed in his head that he is a future champion in WWE. And, well, there's no time like the present, Nika. What a plot twist it would be for Javon Evans to not only get a shot at the United States Championship, but to get it on the first ever ESPN premium / paid live event, whatever you want to call it.
Would you expect him to win, or would you expect him just to have a match?
I think an appearance would feed families. I don't expect him to necessarily defeat Sami Zayn, but I think him showing up out of nowhere, out of the blue, all of a sudden would move the needle for some people to subscribe potentially. Want to point out there's not a lot of black African-American superstars on WWE right now when it comes to premium paid live events. We see it more in the women's side, more diversity than in the men's side. I mean, even this card, Seth, Cody, Drew McIntyre. Who am I leaving out? Cena, Brock Lesnar. I mean, it would be good maybe for the brand to have a black superstar. And Javon Evans has superstar written all over for him.
Well, they might have R-Truth coming.
We are the last people to play the diversity card. So I think it would be a cool, upset, shocking thing. Who knows? Let me know what you guys think. Maybe Javon Evans isn't ready. I don't know much beyond what we saw of him on SmackDown when he came up and wrestled that night, and I was just so impressed. I was like, this guy's ready.
I remember seeing him. He's a high flyer, very athletic. He has really good moves. What's the wait? Come on, jump.
What's the wait? Exactly. Let's make it happen. Let's do it. ESPN Saturday night. You know the drill.
I know. I wish they would get more people from NXT elevated to WWE instead of bringing the old timers that already retired.
Well, I agree, and we need to figure out that generational handoff because Cena's leaving. CM Punk is not young. Seth Rollins is going to be 40 before you know it. I mean, it doesn't last forever, folks.
Yeah,
and you need to have the feeder system always in place. All right. Well, this was fun. Thank you for joining us for another predictions episode. I do love these. And, let us know what your predictions are in the comments below. I'd love to interact with some of you and see where your head is at. But keep it here on the Kanika Sports Show all throughout the weekend as we cover all of Wrestlepalooza and the ensuing fallout on Raw on Monday night. Take care, everybody, and have a great weekend.